If you have watched the first part of my video about the Rickshaw Run, you could get the impression that this whole trip was all about going viral on Indian social media, about meeting friendly locals and having fun 24/7. You might think that all we experienced over the 14 days were pristine beaches, amazing sunrises in the mornings, little cute roads through the lush jungles, or endless passes that wind themselves through beautiful mountain ranges. Of course, this was part of the adventure as well, just as meeting like-minded maniacs and having fun at the famous Indian parties. But this is only half of the story, and the reality of an adventure is that a lot of things don't go as planned. Vehicles break down, help is hundreds of kilometers away, and you cannot predict what's gonna happen around the next corner or the next day. In this video, I'll show you the unfiltered truth of riding a rickshaw 3,500 kilometers through the Indian subcontinent. I'll show you how things can go wrong at 45 degrees in the middle of a desert and how to properly approach problems. And by the end of the video, you will understand why picking the right company is the most important thing on an adventure and in life in general. Get ready for an authentic story outside of your bright Instagram algorithm.
All right, so we're in city, which you can see on the shitty roads again.
The second half of the trip started with us accidentally entering what can at best be described as a terrorist town. The whole place was filled with a weird energy, and from the second we entered, we knew this is not a safe place. Turning around was not an option, as an entire day of driving and a massive mountain range were laying behind us.
Yes.
The majority of the people in this town seemed to be a bit hostile towards us.
You definitely should. I like this a lot. We're back in terrorist town, man.
Now that I think about it, maybe the Hawaiian party shirts didn't match the small town vibe of a Muslim community in the mountains.
Where?
Since all three of us had previous military experience, the more time we spent in this town, the more convinced we got that we would be in for some trigger time. Sadly, we only brought our Swiss pocket knives and a bag of baby wipes. We even had a guy following us on his motorbike, trying to anticipate which hotel we wanted to check out.
Jesus Christ, this is the real India.
In the end, we got rid of the entourage by blindly driving down some narrow, dodgy streets.
Somehow we magically entered into fucking Middle East.
Yeah, that's a different India, man. I love it. Okay, keep going. Hello. Same here, man. This is like, hello, mashallah, my friends. Draw more attention, man. I find that pretty fun.
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Buddy, he was like,
It's the cowboy, white people. Man, this is the best town I've been in a while. This is fucking wild. This is wild.
this is the other one.
At the end of a long day, we got really excited to see the police for the very first time in our lives. Although it made us think, why is this the only place in India where we had seen a police car? And with that question in our head, we decided to book an Airbnb far away from the dodgy people and ended our first mission with some brotherhood chat around a manly bonfire, not knowing that from here onwards it would only get worse.
Sorry, mate, you can't park here.
Somebody took the wheels off.
As we got up further north, traffic kept getting more and more intense, with more traffic jams and a worrying number of heavy accidents. The roads started to have more potholes, big trucks seemed to care even less about white people in a rickshaw, and we really had to fully concentrate to avoid collisions.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god, it came out of nowhere.
Easy, man.
While down south the driving was all shits and giggles, and we got the impression that the rest of the world generally over-exaggerated when talking about the Indian drivers, we quickly realized that they were feared and famous for a reason. If you want to move on Indian roads at all, you have to stop caring about your life and start trusting the universe a bit more. We pushed hard for days, had dozens of near misses and got lost a couple of times trying to shortcut through some random fields. The April heatwave kicked in properly and temperatures started to rise up to 40 degrees. And all of this while driving through leopard reserves and constantly being worried about breaking down in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it might not be the most clever thing to wait here for like the engine to cool down. I mean, there's a sign there, you know, like it's just, I don't know, 50-50.
Vegetarian.
Look inside of it. Look inside of it. Look inside of it with your inside of it. Inside?
With sambar and chutney.
Okay. Yeah,
The constant lack of proper food, the garden parties next to our hotels, and the thin mattresses on the floor didn't necessarily improve our mood.
Happy sleepy.
We hit our personal lows at around day 8, when we realized how many kilometers we still had to go and how little days we had left. You can clearly see the exhaustion in my face, and I was not the only one looking like shit.
We just realized that we have 2,000 kilometers left. Yeah, we'll find out. It's gonna be long days of driving and very short nights. This little shitty tuk-tuk, look at this traffic jam. Oh my god. And they can't shut up for 1 second. Like, you're not moving at all, and they're so like, like, fuck you, bro. Like, exactly, fuck you. That's what I just said.
There was a time when we got so irritated with all the adversities that even the little interactions with the lovely locals became such a pain in the ass that we knew we had to change something. We had to get the moral back on track, otherwise we would end up having a very hard time for the rest of the trip. So we decided to buy some energy drinks for the local youth, take a bunch of selfies, and sing a song.
Believe it, and I would do anything for love. I get knocked down, and I'm gonna keep it down. I get knocked down. You look sick, man. Huh?
Just when we started to get back into a good mood, we saw on the trucking app that 2 of the other teams were in the area, and we caught them by surprise.
I'm the epitome of cool.
And that was when the tables finally started to turn.
What's up, cunts? How you doing?
Hey, buddy. They're like trying to find you guys last night. You had a
We gotta get you.
yesterday. We were catching up.
Just keep following that one.
Great.
Yeah, straight.
Before I show you some of the hidden gems and how we broke down 80 kilometers before the finish line, I want you to take a minute to admire the madness of Indian traffic, and I hope you will start appreciating the traffic back home a bit more.
Thing. Yeah. I love it.
Oh my god, this is gonna look insane on the time lapse.
Yeah. Oh. You are a brave man, my friend. Oh wow. Yeah. Man, this looks like a medieval costume thing. That was a lot of fun, mate. Fuck me.
And this, by the way, is how one of the hotel managers got rid of our trash. We spent the night walking around the beautiful ancient city of Jodhpur, which is famous for its blue buildings. The next day we found this giant swimming pool in the middle of the old town, where locals would jump in from about 10 meters. We took advantage of the mild temperatures in the morning.
Early mornings, it's really quiet in India, kind of, apart from a couple of dogs. No one's really there. Everything's more or less quiet, and we will usually pick up during the night time.
We drove the rickshaws up the fort and visited a bunch of historic sites, including a castle on a lake and some 1,000-year-old temples. At one point, the locals were so surprised to see white people that Bucky had to escape.
Run, Bucky!
Although my Hindi is not that great, I could understand enough that everyone basically wanted to marry him. We drove to another side where one of the guards swore that he knew me because I was a famous YouTuber.
I love it. I've seen this guy's videos. You're a famous YouTuber. You're this famous YouTuber with 60 subscribers. 100% I know you.
Team 2 and Team 3 were the best couples we could have ended up with. Not only did they share the joy for the unknown with us, but they also embraced the saying, "Don't be gentle, it's a rental."
He doesn't give a flying fuck. You know why is that? Because he's married. He doesn't care.
In this clip, you can see the size difference between a truck and a rickshaw. And you understand why this adventure is actually very dangerous.
So this is how they're gonna collect trash in India. It's pretty funny. There's this tuk-tuk with a nice music. And then everyone comes out. They just put it in there. Awesome. Alright, so I have been warned that this toilet is one of the worst ones. Wow, this is what a toilet in India can look like. Awesome, so that's why everyone chooses to take a piss here. Not too bad.
As we kept on driving towards the desert, the settlements got less and less, but the bulls and cows on the road got more and more. We now had to stop every hour to let the engines cool off, because temperatures were reaching 43 degrees.
Slightly madness, honestly, also with these bulls then on the road and stuff, you know. Let me hear your horn! Let me hear your horn! Ah, it's a fucking cow!
On the highway. That's because you like people just parking on the highway.
We kept pushing our little rickshaw hard for about 12 hours a day, from sunrise to sunset. Since we didn't have any mechanical problems so far, not even a flat tire, we thought that we would easily make it to our final destination. But as we all know, you shouldn't count your chickens before they hatch, and there is a reason why the locals call them lovingly the kings of Mumbai and not kings of 24 desert. On the second last day, it got really funny. It all started with a little flat tire that we could change the Indian way within minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's touch it now.
Yeah.
The good thing was that amongst the 7 of us, we had 1 engineer, 2 mechanics, and 1 redneck that fixes stuff back home for fun as well. So at least we were on a safe side when it comes to skills. And this is also an important reminder for you. If you ever go on a wild road trip like that, make sure you have at least 1 person who knows how to get their hands dirty. With a new tire, we kept on driving for about an hour before the first rickshaw started to lose power, and that's when stuff got really interesting.
And get the float, the needle, the jets underneath of that. You want? Yeah, hold on, let's do this. Let's hit all the dust and stuff so you don't fucking get all that in there when you drop it.
Luckily, this was not the first time that Aaron and Bill took apart a carburetor, and within 15 minutes we were back on track.
Tuning 101.
We decided to take off the hood to allow a bit more airflow for the engine. A classic tuning hack.
That adds another horsepower, mate. Pretty sure. GTA for the win! GTA for the win!
On the way to the holy land of golden sand, we found a massive cocaine lab and decided to let the rickshaws have some fun. After doing some skids in the marble dust, we were in for some happy days. But maybe riding the little fella hard in 45 degrees wasn't the smartest thing to do.
That doesn't sound good.
If it was clogged, it wouldn't even run out while you're living it. Yeah, exactly. That's I was like.
I'm curious if we're giving it gas, if it'll stop.
All right. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
That might be a reason why we haven't seen a rickshaw in the last 150 kilometers. Let's try. Limp it.
full throttle. Oh. Because you feel that? It sounds like it's not getting consistent fuel unless it's a bad spark. Could a spark be bad?
Yeah, it
Could be foul.
Could be, yeah.
You were chatting, it might be because the fuel's so hot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if you can get to that town and then we'll have a water break.
Oh, worst case scenarios, they tow us back to town.
RPM?
Yeah.
See, it's clearing out.
Yeah.
I think it might be a vapor lock.
I hope so. No bueno.
Since the problem didn't magically disappear by itself, we decided to tow our rickshaw to the next town, which was about half an hour away. It's moments like this when you become really grateful for using your brain and not driving into the desert alone.
Ah, that it gets under the...
Tie it off to the roof rack.
So we're gonna tow our nice rickshaw literally 80 kilometers before the finishing line. I can't believe it. Made it so far. Of course, we have bystanders. We could probably also get a very cheap Airbnb in there.
Could have you done a longer rope?
Look at them laughing at us.
Tex, push.
That's definitely the best that has ever happened in this town. I can tell that one. There we go. Whoa! It's an e-rickshaw. Oh boy, man, that is too funny. It's kind of quiet now.
It's the most enjoyable it's been driving.
Bro, I love this shit. This is fucking ridiculous.
A rickshaw gave up on the last fucking
80 kilometers, man. Would you fucking believe it? No way. And I made fun of them. I was like, we'll tow you over the finishing line. See how the tables have turned. I guess that is part of the adventure.
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
Yeah, man. Oh, they made it.
In situations like this, you just gotta stay cool, calm and collected. Try to be creative and enjoy the uncertainty, otherwise you will freak out and only think about what could have happened if.
The road is open, let's take the ride.
That's gonna make a good picture of the day, brother. I think. Check the engine. Yep, still there.
At first we checked the spark plug and the fuel pump, and they both worked. But the funny coincidences were only about to happen now.
Do it again. Do it again. No. That might have been the fuse that you gave away. Can we have our spare fuse back? It was for the fuel pump.
It's like the spare. That was the spare box.
Will it start now?
No, it's not. Fuel pump's not kicking on. I think I just gave him our spare fuse. That wasn't a
shit.
spare.
You
understand? I normally don't like to do mechanic work in my Sunday best, but
Yeah, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
man's gotta do what he gotta do.
Oh yeah, there we go. Lights are on. So someone blew their fuse, and since we gotta do a night drive today, we have to use an Indian fuse, aka wire. Together in misery.
This guy's here for a good time.
That is too funny, fucking hell. But the whole village is there. They're all trying to organize a mechanic, but I think we might have it fixed. So we checked fuel pump. It's pissing out, not really strong, but should be enough. Spark is there, air shouldn't be a problem, and we tried to crank it up, but then Bucky forgot to put the spark plug in, and now we gave away our spare fuse. Yeah, there we go. That's not too bad. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, seriously, is this safe?
Yes, that is safe. 50-50. That's why we drive through night. It's much safer.
How much safer?
50-50.
Bro, what the fuck? Obviously he doesn't know what 50-50 means.
One thing that I would definitely not recommend is driving through India at night. Vehicles either have no lights or they solely use their high beams, and there is a reason why every single insurance warns you exactly from doing that. You can't imagine our feelings when we finally arrived one day early at our final destination, Jaisalmer. We had a beer, a pizza, and then dropped dead into our beds. As Rajasthan is home to one of the most historical parts of India, we were really excited to explore the surroundings of the beautiful city of Jaisalmer, which looked just like a Bollywood movie setup. We decided to start the day with a little tour through the old town, and just like in part 1 of the YouTube series, we fell for the trick with the undercover salespeople and ended up in random shops all over the town. Once again, we were shown very special carpets from very special people at very special prices. At least this time, a very special free beer came with it. Tex bought some fancy jewelry from a place where Mick Jagger apparently had bought before, and we found out that we were not the only team who had arrived a day earlier.
It's always give and take.
You know, it's for YouTube. So we found this random homeless person.
From Raul.
Bye bye from Raul. See you, brother.
It's okay, we
Thank you, brother.
You can just scrape them all up.
After the shopping was done, it was time to grab some jeeps and venture off into the famous desert, home to countless incidents with the neighboring Pakistanis. The first stop was a bunch of old rocks stacked on top of each other, aka a ghost town. Apparently a couple of 100 years ago some sand people were living here and now it's cursed or so. Anyways, let's get out of here. Time for the real fun with the rickshaws of the desert. Camels.
Oh, gotta trust the tour guide. Oh. Yeah, I love it, honestly. This is
After the magical sunset, the tour guides cooked us some very nice meals over the bonfire, and we got our shishas ready for the stargazing. I still remember that moment when we all felt that deep relief that we made it out unharmed. The connection between like-minded adventurous people is something so beautiful and fulfilling that it becomes hard to describe it. Because it cannot be shown, it has to be felt. What I could feel as well was that it is always the small things in life that make it magical, like a dream out of 1001 nights.
Like the most peace and quiet we've had like the entire trip.
And then it was time for the grande finale. We drove the last meters and crossed the finishing line just as we had crossed the start line 14 days earlier. Unnecessarily loud, very colorful and bold. This is exactly what Grand Theft Adventure stands for. Don't take life too seriously, it is just a massive, surreal game. And with this, another intense road trip with just over 3,500 kilometers was in the books. And the moral of the story? In GTA, we all play for the sake of playing, although we don't know how the story ends. Don't plan life too much, just go with the flow and do it. You can only prepare yourself for the coming things so and so much, but trust me, the universe will make sure it hits you by surprise from a very different angle anyways. If you are all hyped up now and ready for an adventure, just trust the feeling, grab a bunch of friends and make it happen. If you don't have the right friends, well, then text me. Of course there was a party in the King's Castle in the end. What did you expect? And our favorite song turned out to be the banger of the night. If you have any further questions about the Rickshaw Run or the adventures in general, feel free to leave a comment. If you liked the video, then you should think about subscribing to the channel there is much more to come in the near future.
Rowdy! Ah! Oh man.